So with it still, we're still in spooky season. I decided, it would be really fun if I decided to do some movie rankings, which I'll probably do throughout October. But as a preview of that, I decided to do ranking of one of my favorite horror franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, as always with these lists, if you think a movie should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. That's no problem. I'm just saying, like, these are just my personal. This is just my personal preference, and I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. So we're gonna go from worst to best. So yeah. The first two movies on here are kind of interchangeable of how bad they are and how ridiculous they can be and how bad it is in general. So let's get started. So starting off at the bottom of the list, it's not Freddy's Dead. It is Part 5, The Dream Child. The Dream Child is a slog to get through. It is an absolute bore with only, like, what, 3 deaths? One of them being the first death we get in here, really good. It's a really good death. And a very imaginative special effects death. But the other 2 following, yeah, they're pretty awful. They're pretty awful. And the movie, the storyline sucks. Robert Englund, of course, does his best with what he's got, but we have gone full comedy Freddy at this point. It is full-on funny Freddy mode. A lot of people say Dream Master was the one that had funny Freddy at the beginning, and yeah, there is. And we'll get to Dream Master in a bit, but like, yeah, this was kind of the movie that made everyone go, "Fucking Christ, make it stop." So yeah, Dream Child, for me, it's arguably the worst. So let's move on now to the next movie. Speaking of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This movie's ridiculous in so many ways. Again, Robert Englund gives a great performance, and this movie is dumb. It's bad. Of course, you forgot the Power Glove. You've got the Power Glove. You've got all that. The reason why I kind of rank it just a wee bit higher is because it's way more entertaining. It's entertaining in the sense it's like watching a clown car get hit by a train that goes off the rails and then crashes into an orphanage. It's like that, where you like, it's so bad it's like you can't look away. But it's like, this is a movie that is has a way more. If I had a gun to my head and said which movie, like, you're gonna pick what movie you're gonna watch out of Dream Child or Freddy's Dead, I will pick Freddy's Dead. But yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to the next movie, and that is the remake, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 it was 2010. The 2010 remake is. Looking back, I did like it as a film. I like looking back, like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, this was really cool. And then I watched it again, and it wasn't cool. It wasn't fun. It wasn't now, full disclosure, Jackie Earle Haley does his damnedest, but they made that makeup look like total shit. Like, they fucking did a digital hack job on the makeup, which the original makeup, without the CGI stuff, looked good. Like, it looked decent enough. It looked like an actual burn victim. But, like, here, it's, like, with the CGI makeup, and I feel so bad for Haley, because he was a worthy, even Robert Englund said that he was a worthy successor to him as Freddy. But this movie, the rest of the cast is bad, the story's predictable, the kills aren't really memorable either. There's nothing really here, and even the stuff like micro-dreaming and all of that shit is just really, like, it really doesn't feel like they explore it fast enough with all these dreaming ideals. Like, that's the problem. Anyway, so it gets a little higher marks for me, just above, but that's not saying much. I think it's just because of Haley's performance. So let's move on now to Friday on Elm Street movies. I do enjoy. Like, I do like them. So starting off with our next one, and that is Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. This movie's goddamn ridiculous. This movie feels more like a fever dream mixed with something else. Like, fever dream and weird comedy. Just absolute weird comedy. There are so like you can clearly tell I understand what the director wanted to do with the character, with the main character, but like it's still like it's kind of obvious, isn't it? Like it's all kind of obvious. Like even the first time I watched this movie, I was like, "Oh, I get." Like 5 minutes in, I was like, "Oh, I get it. I see what you're trying to do here." Having said that, though, this is like, again, I think people sleep on how good this is another time we get scary Freddy again, and this is this is a very dark Freddy. The finger claws, the claws coming out of the hands, I never liked that, but that pool massacre scene is a lot of fun. That scene of "You're all my children now," I love that image. I also love when he's walking out of the guy. I think its name's Richie, right? Like it's been a while since I've watched Freddy's Revenge, but like that fact of him like cutting himself open and freeing himself from Richie's body, I really thought that was cool. And there are some really good kills here, and some of them are weird, but I think the third act is definitely like really makes up for how fun it is. So yeah, I do enjoy it. It's not something I go back to a lot of these movies, but it is something I do like. If I want to watch something goddamn ridiculous of these movies, I'll just be like, I'm gonna put in Freddy's Revenge. Anyway, so following that, we have Freddy vs. Jason. Before we had Kong and Godzilla's rematch, before even Alien and Predator fought, to lesser degrees, we had Freddy vs. Jason, which in no right is a good movie, but Jesus Christ, they gave us an R-rated Freddy vs. Jason movie that is stupid, and the cast is not good. I will grant you that. Except you, Jason Ritter, you go find Grunkle Stan. There you go. I did my Gravity Falls reference for that. And you can't knock the multiple fights. The Dream fight and the Crystal Lake fight were awesome. It's definitely a film that was absolutely like balls to the wall, and the soundtrack's also really kick ass. It's also like fun 2000s like hard rock heavy metal. What can you expect? So it's just fun. It really is just fun. If I was to rank like my favorite crossover movies, I would probably say this is probably my favorite of the crossover versus films out there. This would probably be my favorite. I say that over both Godzilla vs. Kong movies. Anyway, so moving right along to our next one, and that is New Nightmare. New Nightmare was a great breath of fresh air for the franchise. It was a imaginative take on the continuity. Everyone, Heather Langenkamp, Wes Craven even gives a great performance. And Freddy's design in here is really just demonic. I really like kind of like the psychological horror of it. I think it was a great idea to like when Freddy ended, when that whole franchise ended, and we were in the 90s. It was really cool to see like Wes Craven come back to the monster that he made and give it and breathe new life into it, as well as again, 90s were really good for Wes Craven. Anyway, so there you go. So now we come to the last two, and now you have to sit and wonder and go, what are the last two where are the last two going to rank? Well, this is just my list, and I do love these two movies, but my next movie, my second favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, is the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I mean, what can you really say about this movie, honestly? Like, what can you say that hasn't already been said before? This is a film that has been a major impact on the film industry. It was the house that, built... it was the house that built New Line Cinema. It gave us one of the most iconic horror icons of all time, and one of the best final girls of all time in Nancy. It's just what can I say about that movie that has already been said? But however, the one movie that is probably my favorite of the franchise is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors. Come on, the Dawkins theme is awesome. Just for starters, that movie takes everything that Wes Craven did in the first film and makes it like an action horror film. It is a beautifully done script. It's a great continuation of Nancy's character. All the other supporting characters, the Dream Warriors themselves, all of them are very well likable. They're very likable. You get to know them, and you feel bad when they die. Like, you really feel bad. Like, that usually doesn't really happen in a lot of these... oh, shit. I just realized I forgot to mention Dream Master. Well, fuck. Well, I'm too far in the video right now. I will just go back to it and where it ranks. Shit. Yep, I knew I was forgetting something. Anyway, so professional on this channel. Anyway, so, Dream Warriors is just my favorite movie, favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Great special effects, great kills, great characters, all of it. Now, for where Dream Master lies right below Freddy vs. Jason and right above Freddy's Revenge. I don't hate Dream Master like a lot of people do. I think there's some great kills. There are also some really imaginative deaths. And that was one of Freddy's most bizarre and fantastical deaths I've ever seen. So there you go. Sorry about that. I know some people already probably typed the codes like, where's Dream Master? You forgot Dream Master. There you go. Anyway. So you guys tell me in the comments below, where do you guys rank the Nightmare on Elm Street movies? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.